growing up in our house, we grew up in Midvale, Utah, and it's just me and Dale. We're the only siblings, and then our parents, and we would occasionally have maybe a grandparent live with us every now and then. And you had experiences in our house growing up,
Right.
and me and our parents never had experiences. I had maybe one. I'll share, maybe share that first, and we can get into your story. I'll share maybe one interesting thing that happened to me in the house. But other than that, you've got some interesting stories. How many do you have? A few, right? Like 3, 4?
I have a lot. I mean, I can just tell a couple.
There's one I want you to say to the end because that one kind of gives me goosebumps. It's I'll just say
stairs
cutlery one.
Yeah.
So that one, I want you to save that one to the end because that one I really thought was spooky. Even though I didn't have much experiences, but I believe you that these things happened. One of the stories that I can remember. This is actually when I actually moved back. So I took a hit to my ego and I became a boomerang child. You did too. Yeah. What that means is we basically tried to do a modification on our homes during that housing crash of the economy.
Yeah, and mine happened right because of my divorce. And so I was in that limbo of like, hey, can I afford the house by myself? Okay, maybe I should do the home modification because this was like 2009.
Yeah, it was that time.
Market had gone to shit and everything was low, and I was like trying to do that. You were trying to do that, and the companies were not allowing us to.
Yeah, Bank of America.
That's who was in charge.
So we ended up going back. So you moved back to our parents like 1 or 2 months before I did. We both got denied on our modifications.
So we got rid of our homes.
Yeah, I actually got. Luckily for me, I got a settlement because they foreclosed on me way too early. So.
Oh, I got 3 of them.
You got 3 settlements?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, assholes. But
yeah.
So anyway, we go back and we go back. So we end up going back into our same rooms. Our rooms were next to each other, and we went back and we
went back in time.
We went back. And it felt like that because it was me, you, mom, and dad again, all adults this time. Anyway, I was home alone. You went to work. Mom, dad went to work. I didn't have to work until the afternoon time. So I kind of wake up and I'm home alone and I go take a shower. So I think this was maybe the first or second week I moved back to the house. So yeah, like 2010, I think that's when the housing market crashed or whatever. So I think it's my first or second week in the house. I go to take a shower and I'm in the shower and we're in the basement. And the shower is also in the basement. And I hear 3 knocks. And at first I just was like, yeah. I just kind of said, yeah. Maybe someone needed to grab something from the bathroom. And then it hits me, oh shit, I'm home alone. And I couldn't tell if the knock came from the door or from the little window. Because like I said, we were in the basement. So just like one of those little windows. I couldn't tell. So I literally jumped out of the shower, butt naked, dripping wet. I run to my room because it's right next to the bathroom. And in my sock drawer, I have a gun. So I pull my gun out and I run through the basement. I mean, it's a small basement. I just kind of, with 3 bedrooms in the bathroom. I just kind of run, take a glance inside, run up the stairs. And from upstairs, we had a lot of windows. I could see the whole yard front and back. And there was no one running through the yard. And I don't know if it's paranormal. I just say it's interesting because I couldn't tell if those knocks came from the door or from the window, but it was 3 loud knocks. And I just instinctively said, come in, or I said yes or something like that because I thought maybe someone needed a toothbrush or something. But that was it. That was my only experience, if you call that an experience in the house. But other than that, I had nothing. I've seen nothing. I mean, sometimes you could hear things upstairs while I was downstairs, but it was a house that always kind of popped a lot.
I experienced some things right after we moved back in.
Okay.
Holy shit, you can hear the fire truck and everything outside through these microphones. I can't even hear them with my ears bare ears. I couldn't hear that, but with these microphones could pick it up through the walls and glass. This thing's awesome. Okay, so when we moved back in,
okay,
because things would happen to me, because I was shut off to a lot of things over years after things happened to me as a kid. But when stressful events happened, things would kind of happen again. And with that time being kind of stressful, it was getting close to Christmas time. I remember that. And you were gone. Our parents were gone.
Okay.
I had the kids with me, but my parents had the kids.
Your kids.
My kids. And, well, I had just gotten to the house. It was kind of dark. It was evening time. And I was waiting for everybody to show up. I was in a room in the main floor we used it as a TV computer room.
Yeah.
So I'm in that room. As I'm walking out of that room, I shut the light off and look down the hall, and I see a shadow figure duck along the side of the couch and duck.
Okay.
Like a human shadow figure. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe that was a car. You know, a car could have passed by, and that could have just been my shadow, maybe. I don't know. So I try to recreate the effect, walking out of the room and turning the light off. I was waiting for cars to drive by to see what their headlights look like as they go through the room.
Okay.
None of it could recreate what I saw. It was a human figure, shadow person. As I walked out in the hallway, it looked right at me, but, you know, it was all black. But as soon as it saw me, it made contact with me, it darted down the side of a couch and ducked and was gone.
Interesting.
And then that same week, I was taking the kids to Lehigh, and I was on the freeway about 9 a.m. And it was winter, cold. So as we're on the freeway heading south, I kind of see somebody on the left shoulder walking, and I'm thinking their car must have broke down just around this curve I'm about to get to. And as I get to the curve, because I see the guy walking, and he looks like he's all in blue, taking long strides on the freeway, and I'm like, oh, sucks for him. I said it out loud. And as I make that curve, no one's on the freeway. There's no one walking. There's no car broke down. The median wall was too tall for somebody to jump and climb. There was no breaks in the wall either.
Okay.
And I'm like, whoa, that was weird, because I even said it out loud because I'm seeing this.
Like you say his legs like walking,
yeah,
right? Okay.
He was all in blue, and you see his face walking long strides on the freeway. No, I'm the only one on the freeway too.
Okay.
And I see him early in the morning. You know, it wasn't dark out. It was still kind of light, you know, sun coming through the clouds because it was a cloudy morning. But yeah, that happened around that same time also. But some things that happened as a kid growing up were pretty nuts. I mean, every day had something, and I would feel like an electrical charge start happening. Like I could feel it and almost hear like a humming in the air, just electricity. And I would stop what I'm doing, look around, and sure shit, either a light would come on or stereo would come on, or I'd hear noises.
Lights would come on in the house?
Yeah, in my bedroom.
Oh,
I would be upstairs, and I'd look down. I knew when I'd feel that feeling, like sometimes I knew where to look. So I'd look down the stairs and wait. And sure enough, either my stereo would come on or my light would come on.
Oh, interesting.
But as
like
a kid,
the light, like
my light, my bedroom
ceiling light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So one of the first things that happened
was it a boombox that you had?
Oh no, this was my real nice stereo that I still have today.
Like 50 CDs you can put inside?
No, it's only 3.
Okay.
I never got one. I never go into that extreme. But I want to say the first thing that happened to me that I remember, because there are other things that happened to me that I don't remember that Mom had told me about. But the first thing that I remember that was really intense was, I know I was in the 4th grade because I was doing my dinosaur report.
Okay.
And Mom had taken you to the orthodontist.
All right.
And Dad was still at work. So I'm in the dining room, and I'm working on my dinosaur report. And this is about 4 in the afternoon. And we had a dog named Buster. And he was sitting next to me.
I miss Buster.
R.I.P. Buster.
Rest in peace.
And so there I am doing my report, and I hear loud footsteps coming from the hallway of the living room.
Okay, where were you again?
I was in the dining room.
You were in the dining room
so
on
I'm
the main
looking
floor.
through the kitchen.
Okay.
Because we have the dining room, the kitchen, and then the living room.
Right.
And there's an entrance that goes from the kitchen into the dining room. And I'm looking into that, sitting from the dining room, looking through the kitchen and into that hallway.
Okay.
Or just all I can see is the entrance of the hallway. Well, these are really loud footsteps. Well, my dog gets up, runs over there. He runs to the hallway, and I just see him standing there at the entrance of the hallway, and he is barking viciously. His hair's standing up, and he is just, growling and barking bad. And I'm
into the
there,
hallway.
Into the hallway,
okay.
and
but you cannot see.
I can't see into the hallway,
okay.
but my bedroom, I could hear things walking at night before, and nobody would pay attention. Like, no one believed me. And this day, for some reason, it was really loud, and it was my dog ran over there, started barking. Well, after he was barking, he ran back to me, and he was crying and growling at the same time.
Okay.
And he was underneath. He went under my seat and just stared at the hallway entrance and just cried and growled. So I said, "F this." I grabbed my homework and I went outside.
Okay.
And so I finished my homework outside. You and Mom had came home, and then I just kind of told you guys what happened. But of course, just it gets thrown off as nothing. A lot of things would happen, you know, little things here and there. But the next, I'll share this one. This one was a scary, scary one.
Okay.
Do you want me to share this now or later?
The one that I was mentioning?
Yeah.
No, later.
Okay. Let's see. There's some other good ones. Actually, this happened in between time when things stopped happening to me. This is around the first time I met Savannah. Not the first time I met her. This is when we first got together. I had taken her to California, and we were walking around downtown Disney looking at the shops. And we were holding hands, and as we were walking, I felt on my back pocket, like my shirt kind of getting lifted up. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's just about to rub her hand up my back.
Okay.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm holding her hand, so she can't, and her other arm can't reach my other side.
Sure.
So then I reached back real fast after it all kind of clicked in my head. I reached back, and as I reached back, I felt a hand pull away. But as it pulled away, it went up my back, and I felt a scratch. So I turned around real fast, and the closest person to me was about 15 to 20 feet away. And I gave her the nastiest look because I was like, what the fuck? And then she looks at me, and she's like, can I help you? So then I tell Savannah, I'm like, I told her what just happened. I lifted up my shirt, and she said, yeah, you could see a scratch going up my back.
Interesting.
And that was and I want to say 90% of the things that have happened to me were all in the daytime.
Okay.
And another thing that would happen to me in the mornings when I was a kid, I was in elementary school still, because you're 2 years older than me. You were in middle school. Mom and Dad would go to work. And as I would be sitting there for about a good 20 minutes by myself, we had this seashell chandelier above our stairs.
From the Philippines.
Yep. And it was like the inside of shell. So it's like that real, almost transparent.
Yeah, like a really thin shaved
and
piece.
it's wired around it, and it's all connected to each other. So anyway, it's hanging above our stairs that go down to the basement. And every morning, as soon as everybody was gone, that chandelier would start shaking. And there was no air vents in our kitchen at all.
No.
There's nothing that would cause that to shake. And I even investigated the hell out of that when I was a kid, just to see what would cause that to shake.
Okay.
So every morning, you guys would leave. I would get scared because of that, and I would leave early for school, even if it was wintertime. I'd freeze my ass off outside just waiting because I was scared. Well, we didn't have any paranormal shows. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have...
Right, yeah.
There was no outlets for me to turn to.
It was the 80s, baby.
Oh, this was the early 90s.
Okay.
So, there was a show, Sightings. I think it was on Sightings, and they had some paranormal stuff sometimes because they did mainly UFO stuff.
Okay.
But every now and then they would have like ghost stuff. So I remember seeing some of those, and one of the things they did was they talked about if you yell at them or you tell them to leave you alone, they will. Okay. So one morning it happens, and it's shaking again, and I scream at it, "Leave me the F alone." I'm like 11. So I scream at it, and sure as shit, it stops.
The chandelier.
Yeah. The moment it leaves my mouth and I yell at it, it stops.
Wow.
I still got scared and I left early. But it didn't happen again after that.
Okay.
But I want to say it happened pretty intensely for about 3 years straight.
Okay.
From the time I was 10 till the time I was 13. And I think the difference that happened that stopped it all was our grandpa moved in with us.
Okay. Our paternal grandpa?
Yes.
Okay.
And when he moved in with us, that's when it all kind of stopped. But that's the same age. I mean, I want to say, I don't know what it was, but yeah, that, for some reason, him moving in with us, that stopped a lot of it. I can't explain it. I don't know why. But when I've gone and seen some mediums and things, they have told me they can see my third eye was shut closed from something that I was scared of. And I told them straight up, that's exactly what happened. And so some of the mediums were like, hey, well, you want to open that third eye again? And I was open to it. So we did that. And yeah, a lot of things have been happening since then.
I mean, you got other stories too, right? There's moments where you saw me walk in the house one time. I thought you saw like a shadow follow me or something like that.
No. This was a time where our cousin was living with us also, our cousin Tyron. And this thing happened with you guys at home.
Okay.
You were in the room next to mine, and Tyron was upstairs in the kitchen.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on my bed watching TV, and I see this cloud come out from under my bed. And
a cloud?
Yes, a cloud. And we had
what
water
color was
beds.
it? What color was the cloud?
This was white, transparent white.
Okay.
Now, this thing came out from under my bed. A smoke cloud came out from under my bed.
Okay, you
and
just
a water
said...
bed we don't have under our beds.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
It's solid all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
This thing went from under my bed and came out as a smoke ball. Like it formed a ball of smoke in front of me.
Interesting.
And I was yelling to you to come in my room and look at this. And you wouldn't.
Right.
You were talking on the phone with some girl. And,
heck yeah, I was.
And that was so important that you couldn't just take 3 steps out of your room to look into mine.
Yeah.
You're So you wouldn't come into our room to see this. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, just look at this. And then I start yelling at Tyron to come down and look at this. And he wouldn't because he's trying to make himself something to eat.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is the matter with you guys? I finally have something to show you guys. But all you need to do is come in here. And we didn't have phones with cameras or nothing at this time.
Right.
Oh, man. Technology now. I would have had some cool shit to show everybody if we had technology now back then. So anyways, you guys wouldn't come down. I called Tyron to come down. He wouldn't come. He's telling me to come upstairs. And I'm like, I can't show you this if I come upstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, forget it. Okay, fine. I'm going to leave the room and just see what's the matter with you guys. So I don't get off my bed right in front of me because this thing is right in front of me.
Yeah.
So
like at the foot of the bed? Is that what you mean?
No. I'm sitting sideways on my bed. And this thing came out the side of my bed.
Okay.
I'm sitting sideways, so it is facing me.
Like your feet are hanging off the side of
Yeah,
your
but
bed.
I'm sitting Indian style, so...
Oh, okay.
So anyways, what I do is I kind of slide down to the foot of my bed and get off the foot of my bed. But as I do that, this cloud is like turning and watching me do these things. It's like turning with me.
Like
as
a
I'm
head,
moving.
almost?
Imagine Slimer. You see how Slimer is formed?
Okay, yeah.
But instead of being green with the face, it's just a cloud. It's transparent. But it's like, imagine watching Channel 3. You know how it's just a staticky? Yeah, there was like that inside of it.
Interesting.
And so it was kind of turning with me as I'm walking around it. And I leave the room. I go up. I try to peek in on you, and your ass still wouldn't come out of your room. And then I go upstairs and I tell Ty about it. And then he's like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I wish you would have came down and seen it." He's like, "Let's go down." So he comes down and it's gone.
Okay.
And I'm pissed because this is the only time you guys could have seen something, and you guys wouldn't come see it. So it's your own fault. And then, because that just reminded me of another story of my grandfather, not the one that moved in with us. One he lived with us when we were
maternal grandfather.
Our maternal grandfather. He lived with us when I was in kindergarten. But he had passed away. This is something my mom had told me after he had passed away. I was taking a crap.
Okay.
And I started yelling for her, and she was downstairs.
Okay.
So she comes up the stairs and was like, "What do you need?" And I asked her, "Why did you shut the door on me?" It was either why I shut the door or why she opened the door.
Okay.
And then she said, "I didn't. What are you talking about?" And I said, "Yeah, you did, because the handle turned."
Interesting.
And that kind of freaked her out. But I don't remember that. This is something she told me. But this is another story about our grandpa, our maternal grandpa. One time, you and I were both watching TV in the kitchen.
Okay.
And there was 2 stairs that goes from our kitchen to our dining room.
It's
There's
like
2 steps.
Yeah.
You were sitting on the steps, and I was sitting on the kitchen floor looking up at the TV. Well, what happened was you got up, walked around me, and went down to the basement. And when you had done that, I know you had done that, and I still continued to watch TV, but for some reason, I was still seeing you in my peripheral.
Okay.
And I had just forgotten that you went downstairs because we were watching TV, got caught up into what we're watching. Something funny happens, and I start laughing. I turn to you to see why you're not laughing, and then it's not you. It's the profile of our grandpa that passed away.
Okay.
And it's just a silhouette, all black, but same thing, snowy, like you're watching Channel 3. But this time, instead of being white smoke, this was black and snowy and still see-through.
Okay.
He turned his head and looked at me the moment I turned and looked at him, and he was gone. Just gone.
Like you saw him vanish?
Yes.
Okay.
Like in a blink of an eye, like gone. There wasn't like any slow dissipating. It was just like you blink and open your eyes and it's just not there anymore.
Wow.
And I remember I ran downstairs because you and Mom and Dad were on the bed, and I just told you guys what I had just seen.
Yeah.
And you guys were just all kind of laughing at it.
Lost your marbles, Dale.
Yeah, I know. Everybody kept saying I'm crazy. And I think that could be another reason why I kind of shut myself off to it, because I had no outlet.
Okay.
But now I'll share that scary one.
Yeah, this one, like when I don't know, I got goosebumps when you told it. I think I kind of remember you saying it when it happened, but yeah, it was one of those things just kind of brushed off, and then later, maybe a few years ago or more, you kind of relayed it again, and I obviously was more open to the ideas of things happening, and gave me goosebumps. But so it started off like it was in the evening, right?
It was late afternoon.
Okay, so go ahead.
Same thing. You were at orthodontist.
Look how nice my teeth are though now.
Oh, you're so lucky. So, you were at the orthodontist with Mom. I was at home doing homework. Or no, I wasn't doing homework. I was watching TV.
Okay. And was our dog there too?
He was.
Okay.
I want to say, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. I do remember that. So, I am laying on the kitchen floor. This is about 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I'm laying on the kitchen floor with my elbow on the ground, propping my head up, watching TV in the kitchen.
Okay.
My head is facing the stairs that go down in the basement where our bedrooms are. And I'm looking up at the TV and I hear a loud thud on the bottom step. And our stairs were creaky.
Okay, yeah, they were.
And you can
hear...
You
said, like in the basement, the bottom step?
Yes, the bottom step in the basement. I hear a loud thud.
Okay.
So I turn my head and I look down the stairs. And then I hear a creak as like the weight lifted coming off the step.
Okay.
So I got goosebumps. And I'm looking down the stairs like, oh shit, here we go. And then the next step, I hear a thud. Boom. And then the creaking of the foot coming off. And then that kind of perked me up. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God. And the moment I did that, I hear a doo, 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 doo. It's running up the stairs at me, like fast.
Okay.
I jumped, like I can't see anything, but I'm just like, it's gonna get me. So I jump up and I run out our kitchen door into our driveway.
So it's like the side door.
Yep. Okay. And now I'm in the driveway and we have a carport. I'm in the driveway and I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around it.
Did the dog run out with you?
Yeah, of course I got him out there with me.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not leaving you in there, bud. So I kind of start walking down the driveway, just kind of wrapping my head around what the hell just happened.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, the moment I kind of got in front of the house, I hear this. The window, our big bay window in front of the house just got punched loud. Like that thing just got hit.
Did you like see it shaking too?
Yeah, so I turned my head to look at that window because I'm like, what the? I look at the window. The window is vibrating bad. And the blinds inside are just waving around like crazy.
What kind of blinds did we have?
We had those long...
Oh, like the long strips.
Yeah, that you're usually in front of like sliding glass doors.
Right. Okay,
so
I remember.
Those are what we had in front of the window. Those were just waving like crazy, and you could see the window just vibrating.
And you can see inside, and nothing's inside.
No, nothing's inside. Okay. And so that freaked me out. I kind of jumped again. I'm like, the front yard's not safe. To the back. So I run back up the driveway along the side of the house, and we left our window open in the kitchen because we had a swamp cooler to kind of let that air out.
Okay.
And as I ran past the kitchen and into the backyard, I could, that window's open and I could hear stuff coming from inside the house.
Wow.
It sounded like...
Get goosebumps again.
It sounded like all our utensils were dumped out on the countertop and were just sliding everywhere.
So it's like that metal dragging sound.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was loud coming from the kitchen. So I ran to the farthest part of the yard where we had an apricot tree, and I climbed to the top of that tree.
Okay.
And we lived on a corner, so we could see cars driving around. I perched up there waiting for about an hour until our dad got home.
Where was our dog?
Down in the backyard running around.
Okay, doing his thing.
Yeah, just doing
Was he scared? Did he show off any... Like when he heard the stairs, like something running up the stairs?
I moved so fast that I probably reacted as fast as he did.
Okay.
So the moment I ran out, he was right behind me. He's like, I understand, I'm with you. So I was up there in the tree until I seen our dad come around the corner.
Okay.
So I didn't even want to get close to the house. I ran out the back gate and ran around the yard to meet him in the front. And I was like, whatever you see in there, I didn't do it. Okay. Like, whatever, if you see any mess, it wasn't me.
Because you thought like a drawer probably would just dump down.
I thought the kitchen was a mess. I thought there was just the kitchen was going to be turned upside down.
Okay. So
I'm like, whatever you see in there, it wasn't me, but I'm not going in there. Tell me if it's clear. Like, I don't even want you going in there.
Uh-huh.
So our dad was like, what's the matter with you? You're a psycho. He opens the door and like, everything's fine.
There's no cutlery, no utensils on the counter.
There was nothing. There was no mess. The window was fine. It wasn't broken or anything. I didn't hear it break or anything, but it got hit hard.
Wow.
But everything was fine. And I was like, great. Now, no one's going to believe anything I say. It's just all going to get brushed under the rug like I'm crazy. Which, telling that story just reminded me of the old lady I seen in the house also.
Okay.
So this happened when you and Mom were waiting for me to shower so we could go to the grocery store.
Okay.
And so you and Mom went outside in the backyard and were, I don't know, doing some weeding or something, waiting for me to shower. I get out of the shower. I'm just in my towel. And I turn, and as I'm turning, my mirror on my dresser faced my door.
The reflection is
the reflection. I could see the door in the reflection.
Okay.
So as I'm turning and I'm looking in the mirror, kind of just looking in the mirror as I'm turning, I see an old lady with her hands on my door frame and her head in my doorway.
Wow.
A white lady with a white fro.
Okay.
Short, curly white fro.
Okay.
But just her hands and her head peeking in my door. I turn around real fast and there's nothing there, and I'm just like, I gotta go through that damn doorway. Like this is insane.
Wow.
So I remember all I did was I didn't even look to see if I matched anything. I grabbed a pair of shorts and a shirt and I ripped them off their hangers. I think I broke the hangers just ripping them, and I ran up the stairs butt naked, still wet because I didn't dry myself off good. This all happened way too fast. So I'm still wet. I'm butt naked, and I ran up the stairs and I got dressed at the top of the stairs. And I remember going out the backyard like, what are you guys waiting for? Let's go to the store. Let's get the hell out of here.
And that actually just sparked up another memory. Didn't you say you woke up with something on you?
Oh, this is what people call sleep paralysis. I call it bullshit. This is not sleep paralysis because I'm not even sleeping.
But that's what they say about sleep paralysis as well, right?
So this is what they say. They say that sleep paralysis happens where you wake up, but your body doesn't wake up. So in your mind, you're like, why can't I move? And then you get scared because you can't move. And then it takes a while for your body, which they actually touch on that in that show, The Haunting of Hill House. They kind of talk about sleep paralysis and they show it.
Okay.
But I've shared this story with other people and they have had the same experiences I've had with it, where it's time to go to sleep and I'm about to go to sleep, but then something... So the first time this happened, I turned off my TV, and the display time on your VCR?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how old this is. That lit up my room with like a really light green glow.
Okay.
So I turned off my TV, and I'm about to go to sleep. I kind of roll over to face the wall, and that glow on the wall all of a sudden just got darker.
Okay.
I'm like, what the hell? And I kind of lean over on my back, and I just see a black mass just kind of come over me, and it just got pitch black on top of me. And I can't move, I can't breathe, I can't do anything but just think like, oh my God, what the hell is this? And you just get overcome with the worst fear. And I was just moving, I had just rolled over, so they can't say like I have no control over my body, it's sleep paralysis, because I never went to sleep yet. And I was just moving a second ago.
Okay.
And I kind of I looked around the room and I looked down, and when it all went black. So all that just kind of happens, you get that most terrified feeling.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, the moment I'm actually able to get a squeak out, the moment I make a noise, the darkness kind of fades back into the normal ambient color of the room, and then I can breathe. I'm like, catch a breath.
Okay.
And then like, what the hell was that? Like, who do I even say anything to? What do I do?
Right.
And I just, kind of lay there for a minute, just scared, until you just lay there long enough to where you just fall asleep. And then it happened again, I want to say within a year, where I'm about to go to bed again. I turn off the TV. I set my remote down. I kind of pull the covers to where I'm comfortable, and I look down, and all of a sudden and I had just seen this on my chest a minute ago, where it was just, you could see whatever. Now, when I look down there, it looked like a cat curled up on my chest.
Interesting.
And all of a sudden, boom, I get stuck in that, like whatever I'm in, I can't move again, and I can't breathe. And I get overcome with that intense feeling of fear, and I can't do anything. I can't even breathe. So I'm just like trying to scream, and all of a sudden, a squeak comes out, and then I can catch my breath again.
Okay.
And I can move again, and all of a sudden, that shadow figure of what looked like a cat curled up on my chest is now gone, and I could still and I could see my chest. I could see the blankets. I could see everything. But yeah, those were some
So
of the crazy stories.
why do you think it happened to you and not anyone else in the house?
So our house isn't haunted. There's no one that have died in that house.
Right.
There's people that have lived in that house before our family did. They're all still alive.
Yeah.
From
They were
talking,
isn't our family the second owners of the house?
second or third.
Second or third, and everyone, yeah.
And our house was built in the 70s.
Yep.
And we moved into it in the 80s.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was just really strange. So when I've talked to some mediums, when I've had some readings done to me, they've all told me that I was gifted and I can, I have these things. And so some of these spirits were coming to me, like I set off a beacon that makes spirits want to come to you for help.
Okay.
And they were just showing themselves in different ways. Or I had another medium tell me that these were spirits following me from another lifetime, that I had killed somebody and they were coming out for revenge.
Interesting.
But then my spirit guides had kind of kept me safe from them.
Okay.
And I've also been told I have a shit ton of spirit guides. I have like 5 main guides, but then I have like multiple lines of defense of different family members from different, lineage that goes far and far. And yeah, I've been told by multiple mediums that I have like multiple lines of defense when it comes to spirit guides. I have my 5 main ones, and I've been told all about them. That was cool. That was a cool reading. And then I've been told about just the multiple lines of defense that I have.
Okay.
And I actually just finished my shaman classes, so now I'm a certified shaman.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
What does that mean you can do with that?
I'm a superhero now.
You got superpowers.
Yeah. And now I'm actually going to be starting Reiki.
Okay.
So I'll be doing Reiki. So I'll be certified in a lot of different things. I'm just gonna never stop learning.
So you can tell me if I have spirit guides then.
Eventually, one day, I probably. Well, I mean, if I really tried, who knows? Maybe I can tap into that.
Interesting. All right.
But I haven't. I don't. I'm just kind of letting things come as they come, and it's happening kind of fast. Just the things, the more and more we go out and investigate, some of the things I'm able to do, and then confirm with other mediums that actually you can just see it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more of like feeling it and then seeing it in my head and then spitting it out of my mouth.
Right.
And then when I do that and I get the validation saying that, yeah, that's exactly what's here. Or,
yeah.
It's been kind of freaking me out.
But
in a good way. Like I'm not like scared of it like I was as a kid.
Right. One thing I was just telling you in the car, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, kind of like whatever you kind of want can kind of come to fruition if you put yourself in that position, or things similar to that. And growing up, things always happen to me that I always that's why I really believe in the law of attraction. Whereas if I'm thinking of somebody or thinking of something in particular, it will pop up. Like I'll get a text, an email, a phone call about that topic or that person. Or if I'm thinking of a person for whatever reason, I'm like, I haven't heard or seen them in a long time, and then all of a sudden, boom, I run into them at the store or whatever. That always happens to me. And then sometimes other things happen, but I'm gonna give you a good example. And I don't know if it's mainly the law of attraction or it's because I have some heightened abilities, or maybe it's just because I get into tune with a lot of the paranormal stuff, but it happens a lot where I predict what people are going to say or do. And I always kind of thought, I'm really good at psychology. Like I'm really good at understanding people and what they do. But something happened to me recently and I was like, maybe I need to like learn more about this. So I was listening to another podcast and the individual has a phone call come in and he says, how many tickets did you buy? And I'm just in my car by myself and I just said 6. And the guy says, I bought 6 tickets. And so, I mean, this always has happened to me, but I never really thought about it. I just was like, I'm good at the guessing game.
Well, maybe you should just listen to yourself and say things out loud more often and see how right you are, and maybe log it every time it happens. And because that's what I want to start doing. Because I would have that thing also, but it seems to have intensified in the last year. Where what I mean by that is instead of thinking of somebody and then later that day or something kind of hearing from them or seeing them and you haven't seen that person in a long time and for some reason that day you just start thinking about them and then boom, there's a call from them or a text from them or you see them. Mine, on the other hand, was like that also. It happened a lot. But as of, I want to say this last year, it has been more of, I'll for some reason call somebody out of nowhere, and then they will be like, holy shit, dude, no homo, but I was just thinking about you just now when you called me. Or I'll call somebody, or I'll shoot them a text, and they'll be like, whoa, bro, I was just texting you, or I was just, you know, and that's happening daily for me now.
Interesting.
And yeah, I mean, and I gotta laugh about it, because whenever they say that, they're like freaked out about it. I'm like, you'd be surprised, but this happens to me constantly.
You know, and it's funny you say that too, because I'm actually not really understanding. I just kind of feel like, oh, my law of attraction skills are pretty awesome. And so I use that to my benefit sometimes, where if someone does if I do want to see somebody or meet someone, I actually start thinking about it more and more and more, so that it does happen. And that's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Maybe I need to tune into it a little bit more too.
Yeah, try. Because if I got superpowers, you might have superpowers.
We are super powerful.
Yeah.
Together. All right, guys. Anyway, I want to thank everyone to listen. I'm going to double dip this episode because I really like these stories. So we're going to double dip this episode. So it's going to be on the Buko Boys podcast. Also, the DVO Show podcast, which is basically my own podcast where I interview people as well.